Good afternoon. My name is Alena Shautsova. I'm an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. And in today's live Facebook presentation, I would like to address a very important issue that I started receiving questions about. Issue of if new administration, Biden's administration, incoming administration, may fix the broken immigration system in the United States, and what we can hope for, what changes Biden actually promised is going to be implemented, or at least he is going to try to implement them within the first 100 days of his presidency. Well, first of all, I have to let you know that not everything can be undone that was done during the Trump administration quickly. Why? Because some changes we experienced were caused by the presidential actions, executive orders, travel bans, for example, bans related to the employment immigration, infamous Muslim travel ban. But some changes were done through regulations. And to change a regulation, it takes time. Because you may learn that from one of my videos that there are proposed rules, for example, and there is a comment period. And after the comment period, then the administration makes perhaps more changes. And only after the final publication, within like 30 days or 60 days, the rule becomes current. So it takes time for some of the regulations to be undone, if, of course, the Biden administration chooses to act. So let's talk about positive things that we can hope for. If these things are going to take effect, many people in the United States are going to be able to fix finally the immigration status. And I'm going to explain to you why. Okay? Well, first of all, let's talk about asylum. Of course, within the past 4 years, there were tremendous changes to the United States asylum system, from the way that people are handled at the border, the qualifications for asylum bars. Some of those changes can be done almost immediately, and some will require time. So first, of course, the Biden administration promises that they're going to again change the way that applicants are handled at the border. They will stop the family separation, separation of the children. They're going to use previous facilities to host families while they're awaiting the results of their credible fear interviews. Also, some of the asylum bars, new asylum bars, are going to be canceled. And as I said here, it may be taking more time than just an executive decision because of the regulations that came into place. For example, the regulations promoted on that came into effect on August 25th of this year, I believe it's going to take a long time to take care of those regulations. I'm talking about the 365-day rule for the work permits, for example, and some other things. Of course, I have a suggestion of how to handle it faster. A federal court can handle it very fast if the administration would not fight and the plaintiffs are going to bring an action. So instead of waiting for the regulations to change and go through this commenting process, the court may fix the situation within days. But that's a whole different topic. But now let's talk about something that probably is going to be relevant to more people in the United States than just asylum seekers. It's DACA and DAPA. Very important. The Biden administration promises to return full DACA, meaning that new applications are going to be allowed to be submitted. In my understanding, there will be no bars to apply for advanced parole. It's very important because advanced parole, as you may be aware, allows a person later to get adjustment of status. And of course, hopefully, the DACA qualifications may be changed to be easier to meet, potentially giving an opportunity to more people to qualify for this relief. Most importantly, the Biden administration promises to return DAPA or implement DAPA. It's deferred action for parents of childhood arrivals and parents of the United States citizens. If you recall, the Obama administration tried to implement DAPA, but they were unsuccessful because of the lawsuits. DAPA would open the door to many adults in the United States who now have US citizens' children. And of course, it's not an ideal solution, but it will be a solution to many, because first, it gives a work permit, Social Security, of course, protection from deportation, if it's going to be in the form that we hope it's going to be. Again, ability to travel and advance parole. So it's very important. Hopefully this DAPA program is going to be actually implemented. Now, the Biden administration has experience, because Biden worked with Obama, and may avoid those lawsuits that Obama administration faced. And hopefully we can see this positive progress in the DAPA area. Biden promises to cancel the Muslim travel ban. Actually, he can't do it, and there will be no excuses for him not to do it. Why? Because the Muslim travel ban was installed by an executive action. Especially, as you may be aware, it affects people from, let's say, Yemen. For whatever reason, family immigration from Yemen has been very hard to accomplish. The processing times are much longer than for people even from other Muslim countries. And it's one of the countries that just suffered a lot. People from those countries, families from those countries. Expansion of TPS. Very important that TPS may not be canceled if Biden comes into the office, into the Oval Office. Not only that, he promises that his administration is going to review and potentially designate more countries for TPS. Why it's important? Well, we have a lot of people living in the United States who deserve employment authorization. However, whatever your views are, my firm belief, if you work in the United States, you should be provided an opportunity to pay taxes legally and do that. So if I were in the Oval Office, I would have given freely an employment authorization to anybody who would like to have that, because I think it's an important situation. It's unfair to hold people who are here, and you can argue that they came here illegally in the first place, but it's unfair to allow them to work, but without an opportunity to have their work having the same effects for their Social Security, for their family, the same effects as for other people. Because I'm sorry, but in my view, if a person works, it doesn't matter what his status is, if he is allowed and provided an opportunity to work in the United States. Now, the Biden administration also promises to end certain practices related to ICE enforcement, like workplace-related raids, arrests of people who are subject to removal in sensitive locations like schools, courts, hospitals. Again, we may see priorities for enforcement, where the priorities for enforcement are going to focus on those members of the public subject to removal who have criminal convictions. It's very important. This is something that we saw during the Obama administration, where rather to try to deport everyone, the administration focused on people with some heavy criminal background, okay, which made sense and allowed many families to stay united. Most importantly, the Biden administration promises great relief to all military families and those military members who were deported out of the United States, to provide them with an opportunity to come back to the United States and sponsor their family members. This is a very important very important message, okay? Especially today on the Veterans Day, I hope that that particular point will be actually will be fulfilled. Of course, there are other suggestions, and I am, as an immigration attorney, as an immigration practitioner, would like to see more to be done in the immigration field. I would like to see any administration to finally resolve problems, issues of people who have lived in the United States for decades. Let's say they do not have a member of the family who can sponsor them. Why not allow them to file for cancellation of removal affirmatively, especially people with little children, right? Allow to file for cancellation of removal affirmatively rather than wait for the immigration removal proceedings so these people can fix their status. Waivers, that's another great tool. For example, like we see with I-601A waiver, which helped a tremendous amount of families to stay united in the United States. I-601A waiver for unlawful presence. We can ease the requirements or qualifications for the waiver. Let's say allow for qualifying relatives to be not just parents and spouses, but minor children as well. To me, the whole thing is that if you have a little child here, the child does not count as a qualifying relative. I just don't know why it came to this conclusion when people were drafting the rule. The child qualifies as a qualifying relative for cancellation of removal hardships, so why not for I-601A waiver or for some other waivers? Minor children, right? So there are many different areas where we can see improvement when we speak about immigration. And of course, the programs, Biden's immigration program is drastically different from President Trump's immigration proposals. And coupled with the fact that President Trump's methods severely limited even legal immigration, I think that we should see a huge difference when the Biden administration is going to be in office. All right, so these are the main points, these are the main hopes that we can expect in 2021. Keep this in mind, because if you have a family member who is looking to improve their immigration status, you should really keep track of those changes, because they may help you and your family members to finally resolve immigration issues. I just hope that the promises are going to be more than the promises. So thank you for joining me, guys. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Hi Boba, hi Reese, hi Mijanur, hi Omado, hi Shakira, hi Mark, hi Joanne, hi Mohammed. Let me see, we have lots of people joining us, watching from Trinidad. That's nice. I hope the weather is better in Trinidad than in New York. It's really raining. Hi Sunshine, hi Funella, hi John, hello dear. I have my biometrics for Asylum in the end of October 2020. May I ask, when will I have my interview in your opinion? Filed in March. You know, John, really cannot tell you, unfortunately. We've seen great delays with biometrics, and if I had to guess, I would say that you should have your interview by the end of the year. But again, it depends on coronavirus situation. As you see, we have more and more concerns about the virus spread. So it can be that the public buildings will have to be closed, or maybe even shut down again completely for the public. So we will see. If not, probably by the end of the year. Hi Sifat. Hi Mark. Questions. I am DQCR1, waiting on my interview date from NVC to my consulate. How can I request my appointment? I miss my wife so much. In all of this, she did a surgery in the pandemic and we're really hurting. Thank you. Well, if NVC never scheduled your case for appointment, I guess you should address your concern to the NVC and perhaps to the consulate? Well, I would say do both, okay, because I'm not sure where your case is, and I don't think you even know where your case is, right? So if you are CR1, it means conditional resident, right? Not sure what DQ stands for, but if your spouse is a US citizen, there is no ban for the immigration. So you should just explain the necessity of the expedition for your request, and hopefully it's going to work. I know that it did work for many families, actually, okay? Hi, Govinda. Hi, Ujwal. Has Biden mentioned anything about presidential proclamation on family-based immigration? Well, I think yes, because that's it's an executive order, right? Executive order can be undone with another executive order. So here we are in luck as to executive orders. What I was talking about, it is the regulations that are going to take longer. And one of the points of the Biden administration is to get rid of the public charge, by the way. But I think it's going to take some time to get rid of that public charge, unless his administration is not going to fight the case in court. And then the judge orders stay, an injunction of the public charge rule, and then that's it, it's done. Hi, John. Affirmative asylum. My family is still in my home country. Yes. Unfortunately, during the affirmative asylum process, the families do get separated for a long time. And it's one of the things that you should know prior to submitting your case, that it's going to be very, very hard. Okay. But of course, many families do not have a choice and have to go through this. The good news is that if you win your asylum case, you will be able to reunite with them relatively quickly, and request to expedite the processing is available. You can submit it if you have some compelling circumstances. Okay, that's something that you need to be aware of. Hi, Marvin. I'm pretty sure immigration lawyers are upset about Trump being fired. I don't know why people think that. You know, if you think about the revenues, I guess, for the business, I have to say that if there are more people who can file for more relief, right, then immigration lawyers will have more job. You have to understand that. And if you recall, during the Obama administration, immigration lawyers were never out of work. I just read today, actually, and I had a blog on something related to asylum, something related to the way the documents are getting authenticated in asylum cases. And I have to tell you that without an attorney, and even some lawyers will not know how to do that and what arguments to put forward when the government is trying to challenge admission of a documentary evidence. So, people, you may like it or not, but my firm belief that people will need lawyers for a very long time in our current society, and especially in the United States immigration system, which is so complicated, consists of laws, court orders, regulations, presidential proclamations, and you have to keep track of all of those changes, right? Because if you don't, you may just lose your case just because you didn't know one little thing. Hi, Fanta. Hi, Danielle. Married to American and having asylum case waiting for the interview. How that can be positive? Or if you're married to an American citizen, depending, of course, on your circumstances, you probably may adjust your status if it's possible. You may choose a waiver route. So I would suggest you should consult with an immigration attorney to see if you can choose a different route rather than asylum, okay? Hi, Plunkett. Hi, Nino. Hi, Tassir. Hi, Tony. Will Biden administration make asylum cases in court easier to approve? It depends. I think if they will implement some changes regarding to membership in a particular social group, then we can say yes. You will always have to fight your case, okay? Asylum law by itself cannot be changed. As an applicant, you always have a burden of proof to show that you qualify for asylum. But some changes that the Biden administration is promising to implement may be relevant to your particular case and may make your particular case easier to prove from a legal point of view. As I mentioned, they're probably going to make some changes in the area of membership in a particular social group, because that particular asylum area of asylum law has been heavily targeted by the Trump administration, to the point it's very difficult to win those cases now. Okay, you basically have to show that you're just not a member of your own family, but this family is one of the wealthiest, politically connected, famous in your country, which is of course not possible for regular people, right? So I would say yes. Okay, yes to some claims, depending on the claim. Hi Hanan, hi Mark. Documentary qualified, thank you. That's what DQ stands for. Got you, okay. All right, documentary qualified. It means that the electronic system said that you've submitted all the documents. Do you think Biden liberal states like New York still better and more flexible than Republican states, or it will be all the same? Guys, immigration law is a federal law, okay? Federal law. So it depends for which purposes you're asking this question. For enforcement, of course, I find that in New York, we saw less drastic enforcement on behalf of ICE than in some southern states, for example. But it's my experience. I can be wrong. Statistics can disprove me easily, right? In New York, there are more people will be targeted. For example, litigation-wise and decisions by the federal circuit courts also differs depending on issue to issue. I find that the most positive decisions for immigrants come from the Ninth Circuit, okay? I believe it's California, right? California Ninth Circuit. That's where we see decisions that state TPS is an admission, makes lives for TPS holders much easier than in New York, and some other issues. It's really tailored to an immigration issue. Depends on for which purposes what is your issue. You know, it's true that some issue, let's say issue with TPS or an advanced parole, can be resolved differently in different state, or issue of green card rescission. For example, you may know or you may not know that in New Jersey, if the United States government gave you a green card in error, they cannot take it back after 5 years. They cannot rescind it. But it's different in New York, neighboring state. So it's issue to issue. Overall, of course, the incoming administration promises great changes, positive changes to the immigration system, okay? To basically broaden the immigration, to allow more people to qualify for employment authorization, legal stay in the United States. Family unification is very important, right? What's more important in a person's life than family? So I hope they will bring positive changes. At what age U.S. citizen child can file for a parent? 21. A U.S. citizen child must be 21 before he or she can submit petition for their parent. Hi, Nino. I have a hearing in 2022 asylum case with the COVID-19 is going to be delayed or not. Oh, 2022, guys. By then, hopefully, we'll have a vaccine. We'll have a different situation. It's hard to say. Very hard. 2022 is far away for me. I would, if I had to guess, I would say that it's going to take place. But you know, it's just my guess. Hi, Natasha. Has Biden going to do anything about VAWA? My status say fee was waived about a year ago. Well, what I hope they will do about VAWA is that they're going to leave it alone. okay? That they're not going to take it away. In terms of processing times, it does take a long time. Will they somehow make it that the processing times are reduced? I do not know how to make it except for hiring more people, perhaps, right? And maybe streamlining certain applications. But we will see, you know, I think in the United States, traditionally, waiting times for relief were much longer than, let's say, in Canada. I just learned that if a spouse is sponsoring a spouse in Canada, it takes only 4 months for them to receive a permanent resident status. I wasn't shocked because in the United States, it takes 3 times as long, okay? So I just hope they're not gonna cancel it, okay? And if they don't, you're gonna be in a good place. Hi, Ma, watching from the Philippines. Nice. Hi, Panu. Hello. What is the green card processing time in New York? It depends on what category you're filing under, because as you may be aware, it's not really New York that's processing the green cards. It's there are different service centers. Okay, the green card, the way the system works in the United States, that first your application is get into a lockbox center where it's going to get sorted out. Then it's going to be sent, let's say, to, I believe, Minnesota, where they check for public charge rule. Then it's going to be bounced to one of the service centers. And then it's going to be bounced to the local center, which is going to be New York, if an interview is needed. So overall, let's say marriage-based green card takes about a year, right? But the rest of them, it's really hard to say, guys, depending on the petition. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Maya, Raja, Josh, Noor. If I did not answer some of your questions, I will try to comment and answer in my comments. Thank you very much again for joining me. I will keep you posted as to the changes that we're going to see. Hopefully they're all going to be positive from this point on. Please like, share this video, and join me next time for more updates. And I hope to see you soon.